Hi, everyone. This is Rick. Now, why did Jesus speak in parables? His apostles, his disciples asked him that very question in Matthew chapter 13, verses 10 through 17. And Jesus, the reason he spoke in parables was for a far different spiritual meaning than what the simple literalness of the words convey. And this is why I'm always preaching that this truth goes far beyond the words, and those who adhere just to the literal meaning of the words will never understand the truth. We need to go into prayer to understand these things. And what Jesus is telling them in those verses in chapter 13 is that I am showing you that when you come into the Spirit, when the Holy Spirit descends on you at Pentecost, there are still going to be those Christians who didn't receive the Holy Spirit, thinking they received the Holy Spirit, and they are going to, and I will read this verse, because seeing they do not see, and hearing they do not hear, nor do they understand. He was quoting the prophet Isaiah in that, but he then goes on at the end of that saying, but blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. For truly I say to you, many prophets and righteous people long to see what you see, and do not see it, and hear what you hear, and do not hear it. You see, by speaking in parables, he was given an actual demonstration between carnal understanding and spiritual understanding. Because the apostles, they didn't understand the parables either until he explained it to them. But God had given them to understand that spiritual truth. The telling of parables allowed the public to go, wow, he's great. He's a great teacher because I can't understand what he's saying, so he must make sense. And he was doing these miracles, and they were flocking to him, listening to his teachings, and they were going through trying to figure out what he meant. Wow, that's great. But his disciples were a little different. He explained to them what the parables meant. And when he finally broke down and explained to the public and even his disciples in the Gospel of John what the sacrifices were, he was straightforward and blunt and told them, this is what you've got to give up. That's the point that we spiritually turn away from him, because so many of us refuse to give it up. And by telling them that, so many of his own disciples, who he explained these parables to, turned away. Everybody wanted to hear the truth when it came to the great benefits you got, but nobody wanted to hear about the sacrifices. He spoke to them in parables so that those who were called of God would come to him. And then he tested them with the truth so that those who truly would sacrifice for that call would not walk away. He was separating the wheat from the tares doing this. Speaking in parables applies to us today. The Holy Spirit is constantly speaking to us. Do we hear him but not hear him? Do we see but not understand? Is it because the condition of our heart is still worldly and we don't want to accept what he's trying to tell us? Are we going to walk away as soon as testing comes, as soon as trials come? All of these things he demonstrated in that 13th chapter of Matthew. Till next time, God bless.